Welcome to Adam Does Movies Live. What are we at? We at Tuesday, October 3rd. Checking out my instrumentation, making sure everything's hooked up, battery's good, audio seems fine, and it looks like we're live. But I do notice the bars are a little dicey again, so hopefully we don't run into the same issue today that we had a couple days ago, where the internet just can't keep up with the power that's being exuded on this live stream. Hope everybody's having a good day. I have a fun topic. I think we try to be creative here when we can, and I think we've been doing a good job kind of mixing and matching different topic ideas. For this one, I thought it would be fun, since we've already kind of gone over movie trilogies and some of them that probably didn't need to happen, or movies that should have finished out their trilogy, or films that could have gone even further. I want to talk about movies that should have been one and done. These are films that had a really unique idea, really knocked it out of the park as far as the premise and the action and the acting and the costumes and the sets. And it was just kind of this magical thing. You know, Ghostbusters, I hear often as a film that really could not be made a second time. And many people, including Bill Murray himself, said Ghostbusters 2 sucks. I like Ghostbusters 2, but I can absolutely see where the haters are coming from. You could say the same thing for Home Alone. Also not on my list. I think Home Alone 2 is far superior to the first one, but there's no denying it's basically the same movie again. As always, super chats are the name of the game here. So as I'm saying my piece, I would love if you super chatted your own. Like maybe, hey, Adam, do you have Baby Geniuses 2 on your list? Because it should be. Baby Geniuses, the original, was just profound. It was excellence. Manifested onto the big screen, some of the best baby acting you'll ever see in your life. Baby Geniuses is not on my list, so if that's on yours, please super chat as I'm going. I put it up on the screen. I give you a shout out if you're listening to the audio only version on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. You're not going to see it, but you're going to hear it. You're absolutely going to hear it. Those have been going up. I've been putting the lives on Spotify and Apple, so please go over there, follow me, heart it, rate it, do whatever you have to do. Put some stars on it. Say this is the best movie podcast I've ever heard in my life, featuring one guy talking at a wall for 45 minutes to a couple hours, depending on the momentum he has going for him. I would really appreciate it. Oh, and we already have one shot out of a cannon, Master Sergeant, with a gorgeous $10 super chat. Way to like kind of set the tone for the night. Adam Does Movies. Excuse my absence of support. Ben Ruff over here. I've also been off planet. My friends left me on Mars, and I have been I've been eating out of, oh my God, I have to put this up on the screen. My friends left me on Mars, and I have been eating out of my own poop farm. I really hope this is a reference to The Martian and Master Sergeant hasn't lost his mind completely. The Martian, side note, is a phenomenal film. I really like that. One of the movies I gave 5 out of 5 stars in my head, because I don't actually give ratings really outside of Letterboxd, which we're going to be looking at in a little bit. The Martian's really good. Hopefully we don't ever get a Ridley Scott sequel to that one, where he alien coven shits that film franchise. Thank you, Master Sergeant. Really nice to see. It would also be nice to see, since we are pushing 72,200 some subs on Adam Does Movies on YouTube, it would be nice to see just a small fraction of those people show support on Patreon at patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies or via the join button on YouTube. I don't even have 100 supporters on Patreon. That's like, I can't do the math. Is that even a percentage? Is that even 1% of my subscribers headed over to Patreon? That's pathetic. And I offer more than a lot of them. For instance, even at a $1 tier, you get access to 300 exclusive videos. It's just carte blanche. You can go through playlists, watch whatever you want, and they're good videos. At the $10, you get access to my exclusive home movies. There's 4 Water Wars films. They're amazing works of art. Some say they're the greatest things they've ever seen, some being my mom. As you get up on the list at the $30 tier, you get to choose a movie roast for me to do. There's even an unobtainium level. That's just for the hardcore supporters, though. You can't even, I don't even push that, because you would have to be one of the most amazing people on the planet to support me at that level. Okay, so just moving on from that, let's get into the list. I have prepared, as always, let's bring it up on the stage. I think I have 15 on my list. I put together 15. Of course, these always come with caveats. This isn't perfect. These are just the ones that really jumped out to me. And I went all the way back. What are we at here? Planet of the Apes. This is 1968. So I span decades with this list. And I did actually put them in order by date. So we're starting in the 60s, man. The 60s. I want to say, though, the caveats are this. These are movies that I think were pretty much as good as they could be right out of the gates. There was no need to kind of further the story. Oftentimes, that advanced story doesn't help anything. It actually hurt it in the long run, or it just went in a route that I don't think satisfied a lot of the fans of the original. So I don't necessarily hate some of the movies on here. In fact, some of these trilogies, or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 movies that came afterwards, range from decent to pleasant surprises to downright bad. The whole point of this is to say we would have been great with just one, but you have to understand there's always going to be people that want more. You think you want more, but then it comes and you're like, oh, okay, maybe not. Maybe not. So the first one on here is Planet of the Apes. I'm going to take a drink of water. I'm talking fast and loose. I have a chalice today. This blue aqua chalice filled with water. There were a couple of cubes in here, but they've already melted. They've already disintegrated. I put it in a smaller glass because I don't want to drink too much before bed. I have to pee all night. That's not anything I want to deal with. All right, Planet of the Apes. Here's the deal. We had a pretty awesome movie, right? Taylor and 2 of his partners, I believe there's 3 astronauts. They're traveling the solar system, crash land on an unknown planet 2,000 years in the future. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie. Not that long, actually. I watched it a couple years back and was amazed by how well it held up. The costume design, the set pieces are all really damn good. I mean, we're talking about people in ape costumes, and they're doing a great job because that's what we deal with. Taylor winds up running into a colony of apes. It's a very advanced society. They have religion, they have science, they're reading books, and they don't think very high of these 3 humans. Kind of look down on them. It's a whole reverse. It's an Uno reverse card on this planet. As everyone knows, the iconic ending with the Statue of Liberty, and it's been Earth all along. It also led to one of the greatest musicals ever put on the small screen, and that's Dr. Zaius on that Simpsons episode. I love it. Planet of the Apes would go on to make, I believe, 4 more movies that would come out basically year after year. They were just shitting this stuff out. It was 1970, 71, 72. You had Return to the Planet of the Apes, Escape from the Planet of the Apes, Planet of the Apes Go to Vegas, whatever you could think of, they were basically making. It was almost the Revenge of the Nerds for Planet of the Apes, and I wasn't having it. Now, that said, years later, we would get that terrible Tim Burton one, and then years later again, we would have some really great Planet of the Apes films. The trilogy there is well earned. I believe. I think it's very well done. Even though I was disappointed personally with the third version, we have what is it? Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Wrath of the Planet of the Apes, Revenge of the Planet of the Apes. Again, the titling is so bad in these things. Battle for the Planet of the Apes for the 30th time. I was a little disappointed with the final, but it's a very good watch regardless. All three of them are great. Let's move on. I feel like I've talked about Jaws 50 times already on this live show and the podcast. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I think this one's pretty obvious. Steven Spielberg's Jaws was lightning in a bottle. You had a mechanical shark that failed to work. It succeeded in not working more often than not, but it actually added to the ominous nature of it all, the presence looming in the shadows. What is it? Where is it? How is it going to look when it's finally revealed? It all came to a head and it worked out perfectly. So what do you do with sequels about a movie that's essentially just a shark terrorizing a small community beach? Well, you just do the same thing again. And then you put it in SeaWorld. And then you put it in the Bahamas. It's not that interesting. Kind of like Meg 2. More Meg. It's not exciting to watch. The Jaws movies are schlocky fun at times, but the first one's art, man. The first one's that's the one, right? That's the one. All right, let's see what we got. Two more super chats, and Perm, $10 comes in hot with one movie that didn't get ruined with sequels. It was Point Break. Adam, have you watched it yet? You must watch it now. Do it now. Not tomorrow, not after breakfast, not the day after tomorrow. I added that one. Now, Shawshank and the remake doesn't exist. Wait, Shawshank and the remake doesn't exist. I don't know what that means. There's a remake of I'm okay, I get it. He's quoting Shawshank. I see it now. And then the remake doesn't exist because there was a Point Break remake, which I don't think a single person watched. It is true. Perm is correct. I have not seen Point Break. It is on a list. My buddy Matt has provided me a list of movies that are must-watches. He said he will pay me for them, and I don't even have to review them on the channel. He just wants me to watch them so bad. I said, Matt, you don't need to pay me. I will get to them. I will. And I actually did get to one. I watched Cape Fear last night. I was up till like 1 a.m. watching fucking Cape Fear with Robert De Niro, who is a beast in that movie. It's actually really good. I really enjoyed it. Has it aged? Came out in 1991. Yes, it has aged. There's some kind of silly camera work going on, but I appreciate the vibe it's got, and I love the music. And now I finally understand all the references. I had no idea. I had no idea that there was an entire Simpsons episode, and it's one of my favorites with Sideshow Bob that's essentially doing the entire breakdown of Cape Fear. How embarrassing. As a movie fan for 40 years, I didn't know that, but I know it now. Thank you, Perm. Point Break is on my bucket list. I will get it watched before the end of the year. You can mark it down. You can stamp that with an approval or something. We got another Master Sergeant $10 super chat. This guy's on fire. He clearly feels bad for being MIA, I guess, on planet Mars. Speaking of, ever seen Jaws backwards? It's about a shark that keeps throwing up people. That's good. That's my kind of humor. I like it. That's it. That's dad humor. Let's get back to it. Ugh. All right. So the Blues Brothers, directed by John Landis, Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi. We have a couple SNL alum. They're in their prime. It's their heyday. This is a kind of a celebration of jazz blues music. These two comedic duos are off on the road. There's epic car crashes with cops smashing all over the place. These guys are rebels and they're making music fun. Fast forward to 20 years later, I believe Blues Brothers 2000 comes out with John Goodman, and I think Dan Aykroyd came back. Obviously not Belushi. Wait, is that right? That's got to be right. Yeah, I think my memory serves me correctly. That movie's garbage. I saw that in theaters, and I could not wait for it to be over. Let me look and make sure that Blues Brothers 2000. I want to make sure I got the cast right because sometimes I run my mouth without doing my research. Funny enough, Blues Brothers 2000 actually came out in 1998. Okay, well, that's something. Yeah, John Goodman, Dan Aykroyd. All right. I thought that was right. But I just, sometimes you gotta check. Sometimes you want to be a little bit safe. Otherwise the internet can ruin you. Matthew Matthias pointed out a couple podcasts back. Maybe I owned up to it. I can't remember, and I don't listen to my stuff backwards. I don't do the playback. He said that I was doing the movie quotes, and I was going through them really quick because I did over 100, and I kept saying, I said it twice, a streetcar named Desiree instead of a streetcar named Desire. I said it 2 or 3 times without even thinking about it. That's the kind of quality content you're going to get from me here. Subscribe if you just stumbled upon this. Please subscribe. We do it right. Yeah, Blues Brothers 2000, absolutely pointless. And I love John Goodman. I love everything John Goodman's in usually, but this was a terrible film. And what was the point? Speaking of what was the point, Caddyshack 2. The funny part is some of these guys come back. Dan Aykroyd's in this one, and he's basically playing a poor man's version of Bill Murray's character. Is he not listed in the credits even? I know he's in there. Oh, yeah, they put him in later. Who came back? Chevy Chase is back. Randy Quaid's in this one. It just was not good in the slightest. Think Airplane 2 levels of bad, where they try to recapture the magic of the first, and it's completely gone. Terrible movie. I couldn't even get through it. Jurassic Park. Welcome to hell. Jurassic Park, my favorite movie, top 5 for sure. Has it aged? Everything ages. But the story, the sound, the wonder, the larger than life scale was on display in Jurassic Park in 1993. And then we would get not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 more. Lost World was a terrible follow-up. I know there's people that swear by it. I'm not one of those people. Then you have Jurassic Park 3, which is comically bad. It's almost embarrassing how low the quality gets. And sadly, I prefer that to Jurassic Park Lost World because it's a full half hour shorter and it's got an Adominus Rex. Or Abdominus? No, that's not the Adominus. What's that one called? The, oh my God, Connor's going to kill me because it's like his favorite dinosaur T-Rex thing. Frick, I got to look it up. Jurassic Park 3 dinosaur new, we'll say. It'll come up pretty quickly. What's the new dinosaur Jurassic Park? No, that's not right. That's not right. Okay, someone chat. Spinosaurus. There it is. The Spinosaurus snaps the T-Rex neck. And that was the moment that the nerds collectively cried out, "You can't kill the T-Rex! You can't kill the T-Rex!" They killed it. Jurassic World, like a decent soft reboot, and then they would come out with just awful films afterwards. Just an embarrassment of a franchise. Jurassic Park. And here's the thing, I can watch a lot of them because I like dinosaurs. And there's not a lot of options outside of Jurassic Park for dinosaurs. That's the sad truth. Matt Sclero for $9.99 shot out of a fucking cannon. Sin City should have stopped at 1. Horrible sequel. Matt, I'm with you. I almost put it on my list. I got another one on my list. That's kind of a jumping off for that. We'll get there. I appreciate it, Matt, and I agree. Sin City 2, A Dame to Kill For. I didn't put it on this list because I believe it is a graphic novel. It does exist somewhere. It's the same reason I actually pulled off Dr. Sleep. That movie has ridiculously high marks on both IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes. I know a bunch of people that love that movie. I hated Dr. Sleep. And I'm a massive fan of The Shining. Dr. Sleep did not work for me. Also based on a book, so I didn't put it on here because clearly there was a story. I didn't want to get down the whole path of, the book shouldn't have existed to begin with. Now, there is a Lost World book, but the only reason the sequel to that book even exists is because Michael Crichton got a personal call from Steven Spielberg begging him to make a damn sequel so that Spielberg could make the movie. And when Steven Spielberg calls you and tells you to do something, even if you're Michael Crichton, you do it. Let's pour one out for Michael Crichton. He died take a drink a long time ago, actually, but sad. A lot of his books were made into movies. Very good author. Jan Rose for $5. Love seeing it. Thank you, Jan. All caps, all the Resident Evil movies after the first one. Love the first movie. It's such an awesome story. So good. Jan, part of me thinks that you're maybe my wife in disguise because we were talking about this off camera and she said you should put Resident Evil on the list. And I just turned around like, they're all kind of schlocky trash, if you ask me. The first one's probably, the first one is definitely the best. I just don't remember thinking it was that great, but maybe I need to rewatch it, Jan. Maybe that needs to happen. Even if it's a movie roast, that could maybe happen. Thank you for the super chat. And we got one more from Parm. Or Perm, I guess, Parmesan. $5. Completely agree with Jurassic Park. The original is eternal and the sequels do not exist. Oof. I don't go as far as saying they don't exist, Perm, but I kind of like where your head's at and I can definitely get behind it. Thank you. Let's get back to what I got going on. We have next Pop Quiz Hot Shot. Which movie not only didn't need a sequel, but sure as hell didn't need the sequel. Oh, I butchered it. Let me walk away and do it again. Let's reset. Let me try again. Sheila will edit this out. Pop Quiz Hot Shot. Which film not only didn't need a sequel, but absolutely didn't need the garbage that we got? I pretty much got there. We're talking Speed. Specifically, Speed 2 Cruise Control. A movie that takes the high-octane fun of the first film where you have to go over 60 miles an hour in a fucking bus full of passengers and slows it to a snail's pace, putting it on a giant cruise ship. What is the slowest thing man-made imaginable? I don't know, a Segway? Well, these haven't been invented yet, idiot. This is the 90s. Well, then I guess a cruise ship. Bingo. They may go fast in all practical sense of the word, but when you scale it back and show the vastness of the ocean, those things look like they're standing still. It doesn't help that Keanu didn't come back. The villain, I don't even know who is the villain. Completely unremarkable all around. And they put the entire budget into the final set piece where the ship breaks through the docks and destroys half of a city. Looks kind of cool when it's not completely fake models. Well, it is. It's all fake models, but well, whatever. The Speed 2 is just trash. It's all around trash. It didn't need to exist, and a lot of people, kind of hold the first one in high regard. I know I'm one of them. I know Matt's not. Matt, sorry, Matt, it's on here. And that's that theme song, by the way. That score is phenomenal. Okay, this is where the hurt starts, folks. Oof, we talked about lightning in a bottle. By we, I mean me, I guess. Dumb and Dumber. It's like my favorite movie, full stop, as far as comedies go. I still love this film. 1994 was a good year. We were eating very well. Jim Carrey bringing his A game to this role. Jeff Daniels surprising the world that he's not just funny, but he's a full-blown comedian in this movie. They waited a stupid ass amount of time, over 20 years, if I'm not mistaken, to come back in these roles. Their characters became unlikable jerks in the sequel. There are a couple funny moments, but it's undercut by just the mean-spiritedness of it all. I didn't care. And somehow the Farley brothers, the directors, managed to make the meanness work in the first movie because it was like a willful ignorance in a sense. It was this childlike whimsy, selling a headless parakeet to a kid. Well, I guess it had a head. They taped it back on. Putting X-Lax in their buddy's drink so that they shit all night and can't go out on a date. Killing an owl. These were funny. They had a good premise here, and they waited too long to come back. It's a shame because Dumb and Dumber could have had a couple sequels, and they probably would have been pretty damn funny had they not waited so long. Time is what really killed this more than anything else, I believe. Although Jim Carrey, he's not one to do a lot of sequels. He did one for Ace Ventura. I don't think Pet Detective 2 is near as good as the first, but it's still got some great moments and definitely belongs. It definitely has a place. If for nothing more than watching him get birthed out of the ass of a robotic rhino, that scene by itself warrants the existence of Ace Ventura, Pet Detective 2. And no, movies like Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo 2, or my wife and I, like I said, we were chatting about this, and she was bringing up a bunch of sequels, and I had to point out, listen, I'm only doing movies where the originals were really something special, where they really stood out as different. They had either a quirky, cool like twist to something, or they just were so well done, there was really no other direction to go. Deuce Bigelow wasn't good the first time around. So yeah, there's lots of movies like that. Independence Day, aka ID4, Roland Emmerich, who is, for all intents and purposes, a very impressive hack. He basically makes the same exact movie every time. It's always a huge natural disaster film, such as Day After Tomorrow, 2012, and he recently did Moonfall, which I saw 10 minutes of, and that was enough. That was more than enough. Independence Day, out of all the movies on this list, is easily held up the worst. It's actually pretty hard for me to watch, but when it came out, I saw it in theaters 3 times. I freaking loved this film. It was epic as all hell. And another case of, why did you wait so long to make a follow-up? In the sequel, Independence Day, whatever, Resurgence, I think, the aliens come back, they're pissed, they want revenge. Easy premise, not bad on paper. For some reason, their weapons now reverse things and they pull stuff up into the air, kind of like Transformers 3 or 4, whichever one did that, and they're dropping the stuff back down. Kind of a cool effect. But everything's been played out by that point. We've had so many disaster movies. No Will Smith in this one, which in today's era, probably fine. But when it came out, Smith was a huge deal. And to not bring him back, nay, to kill him off unceremoniously and just throw a picture up on the wall, give me a break. They did the same thing with him, funny enough, in Men in Black, whatever that new one was called from years ago that no one watched. They killed him off in that too and put him up on a fucking wall. Well, we should look up. I should do a list alive sometime of just really weird movie trivia. Like the actor that's been killed off screen the most times in a movie. Sean Bean, I know, has been killed a very large amount of times in general, but I could probably look up some fun little trivia to do on an episode and just blow people's minds with it. Okay, this is one that's actually hurting me to put up on the board because I actually really like the Matrix trilogy. I have grown fond of it as time has passed. It's healed my wounds. I think Reload is fantastic. The action in that alone is worth the price of admission. Resurrections was a massive L in my book when it hit theaters. I saw it. I was upset, pissed. Time healed that wound. It's rare when it happens, but once in a while these scars heal up. They skin over and they're fresh and anew. Why am I still going with this metaphor? I don't know. The Matrix Resurrections I've calmed on it. But that said, the first Matrix stands far over these other two, I think. I think that just narratively speaking, it was so mind-blowing. It was so different from what a lot of people have seen before. Now, it's since been said that the Matrix, they ripped off another story and blah, blah, blah. That's fine. Settle it in court, do whatever they have to do. I'm just looking at the movie. And the movie for me was iconic. It was not only memorable, but it was a huge part of my life growing up. And I still look back on this film so fondly. And the sequels went in a route that I didn't care about. Nobody gives a shit about Zion. We wanted to free minds, not free this stupid little cave raid going on. They can dance their heart's content. I want to free minds. And that's not the route they went. I cherish the Matrix trilogy, but I also think that it would have been fine at just one. might have looked back on it even better with more appreciation. And we certainly wouldn't have got the hellscape that's known as the Matrix regurgitation, the Matrix abortion, whatever that fourth pile of ass is that doesn't exist, that I'm bringing up for no reason at all. We wipe that away. We get out of that. We take the blue pill. We go ignorant. Super chat in here. Let's get to the super chat. Master Sergeant is just out of a cannon today with $10. Got a few turds. RoboCop, dos. Sting 2. The Crow, 2. Caddyshack 2. I said Caddyshack 2, Master Sergeant. I appreciate it. Major League 2. Oh, okay. Hang on. Whoa. Hang on. Let's back up the truck. Beep, beep, beep. I like Major League 2. Major League 3 is where it shits the bed. And yes, I know you don't replace Wesley Snipes with Omar Epps, but Omar actually did a great job. That said, you're right. We did not need more Major League Baseball movies, especially when you are going to replace actors. I hate when they do that. Fast and the Furious 2. Yeah. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Right. They're never going to end, are they? Vin Diesel will genuinely be the first actor they will use AI to replace his entire personality, physique, everything. I'm sure he's already put ink to paper saying, yeah, you can use me when I'm dead. Send the residual checks to my body, to my grave. I believe it. I believe that'll happen. He already kind of looks fake on screen. But why male models? More like, but why bad sequels? Zoolander 2001. I'll never forget this film. I took my family, my mom, my sister, and my brother to it, kicking and screaming. They were cursing me out in the car on our 20-minute drive to Maple Grove to watch this at the AMC. They said, Adam, this movie looks terrible. I'm like, you guys, it's going to be funny. Ben Stiller doesn't miss, and he didn't miss. Zoolander's hilarious, and they all were eating crow afterwards. Thankfully, one of the few times my family admitted they were wrong, and I appreciate them for that. And they've since been quoting Zoolander up and down. We don't quote the sequel. I think I'm the only one that actually watched the sequel in our household. It's awful. And it's another one that came out way down the road. The jokes must have been lifted from some of Ben Stiller's rejected jokes from the first one because there was just outdated concepts here. The beginning starts with Billy Zane delivering a Netflix DVD. At this point in time, everyone had basically switched to digital. So that right there just kind of set the standard. It also went really far into the dumb, zany stuff. What made the first Zoolander great was we had this underground world of male models. They were all kind of vain and dumb and, nice, but also a disaster because they're so stupid. But you had realistic people in there too, normal people in the film pointing out the absurdities of it all. The sequel had no normal people, and they went full on stupid with the effects, with the comedy, with the jokes. You had the Derek Zoolander school for people that can't read good break because they built the foundation with toothpicks. That's dumb. It made sense in the first movie for Derek Zoolander to say, this building has to be at least 3 times larger because he's looking at a miniature. And even Mugatu's like, yes, Derek, you're right. What the hell? It's another thing to have Derek say, all right, we're going to build this book building, and I want it to be done just like the model with toothpicks at the base. Clearly, the model didn't use toothpicks at the base in the first one. Regardless, the construction team wouldn't have built it with toothpicks. It doesn't make sense. No. Get that crap out of here. Derek Zoolander 2. Hey, what do you know, Master Sergeant? Look who's on the list. The Fast and the Furious. Now, I put this on the list, even though you'll see I gave it 1.5 stars. That's actually that's mean. I'm going to give it 2 stars. I do think this is a really stupid film franchise, and I think around Fast and the Furious, it got more in line with where I would have liked it at the beginning, where it's over the top, kind of action, fun, spy thriller type stuff. It's since gone completely off the rails. But around that reboot, I was kind of feeling a couple of the movies. I've been told this is exactly the plot of Point Break, so it doesn't get any points for originality there. But the street racing aspect is what really brought people in, the gearheads, whatever you want to call them. And so I put it on there for that, and the fact that this franchise has now spanned 10 movies and counting. They have a massive ride at Universal Studios, which is easily one of the worst rides there. I can't believe they spent so much money on that pile of shit. It was embarrassing. But then again, I think the Fast franchise is kind of embarrassing too, and they continue to flourish. So again, this isn't like movies that shouldn't exist because they're not doing well. Jurassic Park, the Jaws movies at the time, and Fast and the Furious obviously thriving making sequels, but that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it right. Oh, this next one's just gold. I'm going to be honest, I've never seen Basic Instinct 2. I saw the original a long time ago. Sharon Stone, of course, her iconic role that really put her on the map, even though she'd done some stuff before that was impressive. Basic Instinct was the one that like made her a big deal. Especially one specific scene where she has a hard time remembering to wear underwear when she's in a interrogation room. They've parodied it a million times over in every form of media you could think of. So Sharon Stone's kind of having a hard time finding work. She's not in the spotlight for a long time. Well, what do? Well, you don't bring back the director. You don't bring back the writer. You don't bring back the male lead for a Basic Instinct 2, a basic bitch sequel that bombed. No one saw this thing. No one knew what the point of this thing was. It was really a desperate cash grab attempt to get back in people's purview. And it failed. Failed miserably. It was basic. Yeah, basic. Is this the last one on my... No, we got... Oh, gosh. We got a couple more on here. Matt earlier brought up... What did he bring up? Sin City. Sin City 2, A Dame to Kill For. This was kind of my way of jumping into that. Here, let me go ahead and throw a 5-star on 300. I eat up 300. Yum, 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 yum. Love this movie. Leonidas is a beast. Gerard Butler would never, ever come close to a role like this again. This is the role he was born to play, and he played it so well. This movie's badass. The sequel comes out many years later, 7 years later, 6 years later. It's just it's a shadow. It's a shell of its former self, following a different protagonist. It's a sidequel. This movie doesn't advance the story at all. It plays off as like a companion piece. Oh, we saw the 300 on land. Let's see what these jackasses were doing on sea. It's a lesser team with a far wimpier lead. I don't even know who this dude is, to be honest with you. He had no screen presence. Lena Headey looks completely different in this movie than she did in the original, which, again, she's aged 6 years. But the makeup, the hair, everything's wildly off. The only saving grace for the second 300 is Eva Green. She's the saving grace of every movie, though. She's also in Sin City 2, A Dame to Kill For, funny enough. And they came out the same year. I brought this up before. Both these movies were massive disappointments, and they don't need to exist. If you're not gonna try to reach the greatness of the originals, you failed. You failed, and you shouldn't be here. Speaking of failed and shouldn't be here, this is such a sad franchise. Here, let me go ahead and throw what should we do? 4? Let's do 4.5 on Taken. Taken was such a weird movie for Fox because it sat on a shelf for over a year. They had zero faith in this movie, where Liam Neeson, who's not typically known for playing action stars, this dude played Schindler in Schindler's List. He's the wise guy that kind of gets people out of a jam. Well, now he's a badass action hero, gets people out of a jam. Specifically his daughter, who is Taken, hence the name Taken. They would go on to make 2 more Taken films. And they kept getting... In one of them, oh my God. In one of them, he's throwing bombs and he's geolocating them based on sonar or something. Honestly, I just remember seeing that scene. I don't know the reason behind it, but he's fucking throwing bombs and he's trying to read the shockwave patterns that they're making so he can see inside the buildings, some harebrained cockamamie plan. And at that point, I thought, yep, this seems right. This seems appropriate. We have Liam Neeson throwing bombs through the city now. Perfect. That first film, though, is freaking great. Taken, man. What a gem. This is the last one on my list, and then I'll look at super chats. So if you have any movies I did not mention, feel free to throw them in a super chat or just ask me any movie question you want. It's not too late. We're going through this pretty decently fast. So if there's anything you want to tack onto the end, let me know. I did see in movie news that some Joker 2 footage was released. Not footage, I apologize. Some screen grabs. Joaquin Phoenix in the rain with umbrellas. Very poetic, I guess, or something. I don't know. I think the first Joker is really overrated. This might be another one that we had on the list of movies that didn't need a sequel. I guess we'll find out. The Hangover, Todd Phillips, a dark comedy. You have Bradley Cooper, you have Zach Galifianakis, you have Ed Helms. It is a good cast. It was a really fun movie that they would go on to make 2 more of. The second one is terrible. It started out decent. I remember I watched it many years later, and then the third one was the same thing. Oh, I got another one to put on here, guys. I got another one I have to put on here, but let me get through this. They basically did the Home Alone 2 thing, but where Home Alone 2 was actually funny and they upped the humor, this one upped the dark stuff. So the first half of this is just gritty. It's really kind of not funny at all. And then the second half gets so implausibly stupid and ends with them crashing the wedding, and the wives, who are all smoking hot, are like, oh, everything's great. We're cool. It's awesome that you guys have been gone for 48 hours and you have tattoos all over and you know, there's a body missing. It was just horrible. Just a terrible plot. The third one, I don't remember a single thing about the third one, to be honest with you, except for a giraffe getting decapitated from a bridge. Yeah, that's a good vision for this movie franchise. All right, I have one more for you. I'm not going to even bring it up. I'm just gonna talk. Ocean's 11. It just came to me. Ocean's 11. That first film was great, and it's a remake. It's about the Rat Pack back in the day. But George Clooney, Brad Pitt, great vehicle for these two to play off of each other. I love that movie. Really sharp, smart, well executed heist with some great editing, some great acting. I have no complaints. But that second one, Ocean's 12, that was basically an Adam Sandler glorified vacation that they're getting paid to go on. I say Adam Sandler because you'll often see later Adam Sandler movies taking place in an exotic location because, you get paid to go have fun and party and be out on a boat in the ocean at the poolside bar for 6 months to a year. What a great time. That's what Ocean's 12 was. It felt like they had half of a plot, and they just basically said, well, let's get the gang together and have them go, surfing and on the jet skis. And yeah, we'll make a movie somewhere in here. Ocean's 13 definitely turned things around. I honestly don't think I've ever finished that movie, though. I remember seeing it on cable TV back in the day, thinking, oh, this one's okay. They're back to kind of doing sophisticated heist stuff. Good for them. And then I just didn't care to finish it. It might be really good, but Ocean's 11 was really good, and then we got what we got afterwards. So let's stop at number 1. One and done is what I say. All right, now on to the super chats. If any come in, I really appreciate it. The Flail for $2. Thoughts on Land Before Time? Oh, man. I got to take a drink. Got to take a hit of water. Throw a little burp in there for a good measure. Don't lose your way for each passing day. I love The Land Before Time. That song, by the way, is a banger. The sequels are trash. They're all trash. I don't put a lot of animated stuff. I didn't think about a lot of animated stuff on here because most of it was kind of that lazy straight to DVD crap. Land Before Time, outside of the first one, all went straight to VHS. And there's like 30 of these things. They're basically a TV series. A lot of the voice actors didn't return, if any. I don't really know. Animation took 30% hit. It's miserable to look at. It's just a shell, right? But you can see that throughout the Disney stuff too. Disney has Little Mermaid 2 and 3. It's got Lion King 2 and maybe 3. Cinderella's got a sequel. Snow White probably has one. Beauty and the Beast had that Christmas sequel. I know too much about these cartoon sequels. It's sad. But they all go straight to DVD or VHS or whatever's popular at the time. Now it's Disney Plus. They're kind of these weird offshoots that I don't really count because they don't have the same budgets or the talent involved in them. They just seem like, I mean, let's call them what they are. They are cash grabs. They're just straight up cash grabs. Same with the Aladdin movies. But I really like Land Before Time. I think it's great. Thank you, The Flail. I almost had on this list the Lego Movie 2. That movie sucks hard. The only reason I left that one off is because they did tease the sequel at the end of the first film, so it did almost seem necessary. But man, that movie sucks. Matt Sclero's back for $4.99. The Thing. It had a prequel that is basically the same movie, but it sucks. Yeah, The Thing, Matt, you're talking about the prequel, which is also called The Thing. And then, of course, The Thing, as we know, is a reboot or remake or whatever of one that came out way back in like the 40s. Regardless, yeah, I know that The Thing exists. It's got Mary Elizabeth Winstead in it. Winston from Ghostbusters. Mary Elizabeth Winstead in it. I didn't watch it. I have no desire to watch it. The Thing is about as perfect as a horror movie can get for me. I don't see any reason to jump into this modern retelling / fake prequel bullshit. I assume that's what you're talking about. The Thing is a prequel / sequel in the same way that Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle is a sequel to the Robin Williams Jumanji. It's not. It's bullshit. It's marketing. They're pretending it's a sequel or a prequel or whatever they have to spin it as, and they might have filmed one or two kind of like throwaway scenes in these movies to make it seem connected. But let's be honest, they're standalone. They're soft reboots. Perm, $10. Thank you, Perm. Perm's on fire. Master Sergeant Perm, Matt, really, really coming in today. Matrix is king. It was mind-blowing at the time, and the marketing did a great job not leaking what the Matrix really was. The trilogy is still one I watch and enjoy, but the fourth one does not exist. Oh, man, Perm, I agree, dude. You know, you brought up a good thing. We got a couple ideas here for future episodes. We have, and I already forgot the first one. I forgot the first. Oh, it was going to be just random movie trivia kind of things. Like this actor was in this many movies featuring a car crash, and this actress fell to her death this many times. Another one that would be fun is maybe top 10 movie marketing ideas. Obviously, Barbenheimer would go on there. I don't know who is responsible for that. I can definitely dip in and try to find out what marketing agency, or if that really was organic, if that was some guerrilla marketing that just came out of TikTok or YouTube or whatever. Absolutely brilliant. And then the way that they played off of it afterwards with these poster designs and just people doing the Barbenheimer challenge is fantastic. Marketing from Blair Witch, which we brought up recently, was freaking great. People thought it was based on a real story about found footage in the woods. They were convinced that what they were seeing was real. That's good stuff. Cloverfield had an awesome marketing campaign. People went to this movie because they got nothing. The same with the original Alien. The original Alien in space, no one can hear you scream. All you got were like bits and flashes of stuff going on. You had to go to the theater to see it. The big problem with movies now is they show the whole damn movie in the trailer. They show you three. There's a Fast and Furious 10 trailer that's over 4 minutes long. Are you out of your fucking mind? Over 4 minutes long for a trailer. Spider-Man No Way Home had a terrible trailer that gave away the whole plot. They've been doing this too much. You need to lead people to the theater or they're going to sit at home. You need them to go so that they don't miss out and have things ruined. I'm kind of doing the video right now, but I got more in the tank. Thank you for the super chat, Perm. I appreciate it. And for the idea. Hopefully I should jot them down somewhere or type them out somewhere, but I won't. We'll suffer through trying to remember it later. I'm going to stick around for a few more minutes. see if any more last second super chats come in. Usually there's a hero that throws one in at the end. Let me end by saying what's coming up for this week. I'm happy I got the podcast out yesterday. I already forgot what it was on. What was the topic of yesterday's podcast? Let me look it up. Disney gave up on making quality live action movies. Yeah, that was it. Was that that was a live, wasn't it? Oh no, it wasn't. Okay, that was a good video. That was 40 minutes long of me talking about how Disney used to make quality live action movies. And by live action, I'd just be movies that aren't animated, not these live action remakes that they've been doing lately. Films like Cool Runnings and Holes and Angels in the Outfield. There was a lot of good stuff back in the 90s, the 80s. You had Bedknobs and Broomsticks. You had Mary Poppins. They did a lot of good stuff, and then they dropped the ball and just went all in on cash grabbing the classics, the golden era animated films, and it sucks. It's just so lifeless. That was a great podcast. I thought that's up on Spotify, Apple Music, and of course, you can see it here on YouTube as well. Tomorrow, I'm very pumped for this. I have a new movie roast. I have Street Fighter, the movie. It was requested right here on a live. Someone threw $100 at me and said, Adam, I want you to destroy Street Fighter, the movie. I have a 21-minute roast coming your way tomorrow. I kind of go back and forth as to when to do the premiere because I do like watching along with people. I think noon is a good time for the movie roast, but maybe I'll put a poll out and see if people would rather have it at 4 p.m. or later at like 8 or 9 p.m. We'll base it off of that, and then I'll schedule it out accordingly. Outside of that, we have a movie review for Exorcist, whatever this one's called. Speaking of movies that didn't need sequels, Exorcist has a new one coming out. That'll be out. I'll have the out of theater reaction on Thursday night, and then I'll hopefully have a full review for it Friday. And then we, of course, have the Friday live stream, which maybe will be on one of the topics I mentioned. Maybe we'll go in on the horror stuff now. Maybe we'll do a top 10 scary movies, top 10 movies I think are the scariest, 10 moments in movies that are unforgettable in scary movies, or maybe just in general. There's a lot of things, a lot of stuff to talk about in the movie space still. So, stay tuned, of course. But yeah, I'm excited for that stuff. All right, looks like we're done with the super chats. Thank you guys for watching. Again, it's only Tuesday. I hope I didn't say it's Friday earlier. Every day is basically just a blending together. Nothing is too exciting going on right now. Hopefully that changes down the road. But yeah, for now, thanks for watching. I'm going to get some sleep, and I'll see you tomorrow for the premiere. I'll be in the chat when the movie roast goes live. So hopefully you stick around for it. Oh, last thing. Make sure to subscribe if you are new here and you stumbled on this. I would love to have you around. Hit the notification bell. It's paramount. There's a dumb bell somewhere on YouTube that you need to hit, and then these will show up in your feed and let you know that new videos are available. Like this video. Like it. Hit the thumbs up so that YouTube can see, oh, this guy's doing good stuff. People are enjoying it. And there you have it. And if you want, you can share the roast tomorrow. I would appreciate that as well. Those movie roasts are really fun, but they take a long time to make. I'm proud of them. They're funny. I script them all out, and hopefully you enjoy them. Next week, Twilight gets roasted. I'm looking forward to that as well. Thank you guys for watching. Oh, did we get one more? We got one more. Vinny, last second, $2. I'll be the hero, he says. And what a way to end. Vinny, I appreciate it. Thank you guys, all of you, for watching and the super chats. I will see you tomorrow.